Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
The clap just woke up the dog. It's terrible.
Who are you?
I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome. We're here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world.
She's got her face down again.
She's good. She's
I love that
good.
dog.
Well, for anyone who heard last week, she's doing much better. Thank you for all the good vibes. And
to quote Jim Davis, just between you and me, there are times when I love that dog.
She's doing very good. So thank you everyone for the good vibes. How are you? How are you? Deep down in your guts.
A little backlash going on today after last week's episode.
You were going to say a little backed up.
No, I'm
a little backed up from last week's episode.
Yeah, certainly. But
a little backlash, a little falling out, a little fallout action.
Fuck them.
Who cares?
Fuck all of them.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Talentless hacks.
Yes. To quote another source. But otherwise, it's been a good.
We had a good day.
It's
good
a
day. Good day with the boy.
Great day.
Good day with the boy.
Yeah, it's all right.
Good dinner. Good fun.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The scrim is falling down behind you. Why is that leaning so badly? Is the house falling? Is the house settling too quickly?
It is what it is.
All right, it is what it is.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. I'm doing all right.
I was getting there.
How
are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, just finishing up some work and getting ready for the summer. I can't believe it's almost May.
Also,
this time next week, it'll be May.
We said at the end of last episode, because it passed, we need to talk about the convention.
Well, I'm going to silence my cell phone first because I neglected to do that. Sorry. But yeah, let's talk about that. I'm sorry. Shit happens.
It's the last time I take you to the movies.
I'm
Jeez.
sorry. What was it like? Was it on the second to last episode of last season where your phone kept blowing up because you kept getting spam calls while we were recording?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
What's your point?
Anyway, but yeah, let's talk about it. We spent last Sunday. We went to the New England Tattoo Expo at Mohegan Sun, and we both got tattooed, and it was a lot of fun. We both got cosmetic tattooing.
Now, those of you on video, you can see mine. Those of you on audio, go to YouTube.
You can see mine too. I got my brows all touched up. Very excited. And
I think I'm going back for more.
Yeah.
I think I want to add a little to it.
You want to add a little something?
I mean, there's other stuff I want to. Okay, so I have a long list of fucking tattoos that I've been meaning to get for a long time.
Yeah.
Kind of like we have a list of rules, but we'll get to that in a second.
In a minute.
So, and what better time than the present? So.
Well, yeah. I have tattoos that I want to get, but I'm broke. I have to wait for holidays. I have to wait for holidays. That's why I wait for special occasions to ask for the same thing over and over again.
We're certainly a lot richer than most people, both in spirit.
I was going to say we're rich in spirit.
And other things.
And rules.
Yeah.
We're rich in rules.
And moral rules.
Are these moral rules?
As you've stated on many occasions, we are civil to each other.
We are civil to each other.
Not necessarily to everyone else, but fuck them.
People have to earn it. That's
right.
just it.
And people are doing a real good job of not
The
earning.
intent in the deep recesses of my little black heart is be nice to everyone. But...
that means everybody. That doesn't mean, selective everybody,
Yeah.
depending on the circumstances or the time of day or how you're feeling at any particular moment.
Now, if only more people would abide by these rules, I think it would be easier to be nice to everybody.
You're the one. You're the only person who's introduced me, first of all, to the term egalitarianism, and second, to not only explain it in depth, but essentially live it.
Yes. Well, I believe that every human being is created as a blank slate. They are born as a blank slate, and their character is formed specifically and strictly by their choices.
Like, I've known so many people who purport to believe in that or exercise that without using the term, but then they basically do everything but.
I mean, there's, social egalitarianism and political egalitarianism. I believe in the actual equality of people.
Let's get to them rules.
Rules. 3 rules. 1, 2, 3. No judgment, nothing personal, and don't be a dick. Welcome back to season 3.
No dicks.
No dicks.
None of the fucking things we said last week.
No, yeah, because, again, but we prefaced it by we're about to kind of be an a-hole.
No talentless hacks. No polygamists. No Nazis.
No, not here. No, please, no Nazis here. Except for
Surprise!
that one surprise Nazi that happened a few weeks ago. That was fun. What do you want to talk about? You know what we were talking about the other day?
I mean, are we done with the convention?
Oh, we were talking about the convention,
Yeah.
weren't we? Yeah. No, it was a good time. And I actually completely forgot to visit a friend. So if anybody's out there, Chase, I love you. And I haven't seen you in a very long time.
We had the boy and we had the dog, and you know,
I walked
it was a 2.5 hour
around
drive. Had to get him home on time.
You know, wandering around the tub.
I don't want Eric or anybody else to get the wrong impression. I would like to get tattooed by everybody in the shop at some point. It's just that, you know, like, I mean, I've gone to Joe for the anime stuff, and now Jenny's done, you know, what I told you to go to YouTube for. As far as, but like, I because of how much we try and support, you know, their success, like I want, I don't know what, but at some point, because like I was talking to Sophia.
Yes.
Sophia.
Okay.
About one thing at one time, and every time I see Eric post like, you know, got this going on, who wants it? I'm just like, oh man.
I know.
Like,
he's been coming up with some rad shit.
There's so many times where I want to like just leave work, but like, I'm gonna go get tattooed now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get something.
Well, eventually you're gonna run out of space, and you're gonna have to give up your legs.
No, I'll just get all the shit that I don't like covered. I mean, listen, I heard him say, Eric's just like, I love a good blast over. Like, he can blast me as long as wow, what did I just say?
I heard it. The world heard it.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I literally told him, I was like, will you blast over this giant thigh piece that I have? It was like my first big tattoo that I ever got. And I was just like, and when I got it, I hated it immediately. But it's so vibrant, and it's 26 now. So I got this tattoo 16 years ago, and it still looks pristine.
The coat of arms people are some quality artists. Quality artists and some quality tattooers. Yep. And let's be honest, in the last 6 months, I've seen some really shitty tattoos. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Are you done?
No.
With your little backhanded nonsense over there. Come on now. But truly, anyone in the market, I mean, we plug them at the end of every episode, but the fact of the matter is we love them as people and artists, and they've done some really good things for us. Mm-hmm. They've done some you know, and this is art supporting art. We love and support them and everything. So if you are in the Western Connecticut region,
15 years ago when I started seeing the Chapman stickers like everywhere, like at every bar, on every lamp post,
my dog ate a Chapman hat a couple years ago.
That's true. And I said to a friend of mine at the time, I'm like, how do you not know Eric Chapman? He's amazing. He's been around forever. And I'm like, and then I saw what he was doing, and I'm like, wow.
Not to make you sound old, but you've been doing this for a while.
He's got probably the largest reputation amongst friends, musicians, people in my circles, out of other than anybody else I've ever heard. Like, because I've heard of Chase, I've heard of other people, but like everybody knows Eric Chapman, and now everybody knows his kids and his his kids' friends, and
because it's a family affair.
You owe me a soda.
But it was a really good time, and I'm thinking maybe next year we will work it. Maybe next year, especially if they're planning on going back, we'll get a big giant table next to each other and everything, and we'll just play all day.
I'll just like lean my head over the barricade and be like, listen, I've got to, work the booth, but just give me a little something.
That's close to what happened in 2019 when I was at before it became Blood and Ink, the last Westchester Tattoo Convention. I was at my booth, and literally across from me was Danbury Tattoo. And I was just like, Chase has nothing to do. And I'm like, do you want to tattoo me? And he's just like, is anybody going to watch your booth? I'm like, I can see it. I'm like, and if someone walked up to my booth, I'm like, I'm over here.
That's how I got the camel.
That's how I got the ribbon on my ankle. It's a good time.
Luton always be a good time.
And on that note,
that's a good segue into the topic.
I think it is going to be a good segue into the topic. As I was going to say,
Calgon, take me away.
Before we went back, I mentioned yesterday not yesterday. It was a few days ago, right? Not quite a week ago, I think. But we were lying in bed, And I
As
have
we
been
usually tend to do.
I have been binge rewatching Friends.
Thank you for that.
Why not? Because, why not? And it was
Putting a good spin on it for me.
It was one of the earlier episodes, and they mentioned going commando.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Uh-huh.
And it was like, this moment of like, sort of like ultimate sexiness and everything, and woo and everything. And I turned to you and I said, "Do you remember when that was a big deal?" But do you remember when that was a big deal? When it was a big deal to find out that, like, a woman wasn't wearing any underpants?
I mean, I don't ever remember that being a thing amongst,
No?
like, people that I knew.
Yeah.
Or certainly it wasn't something that, like, people talked about.
Really? When it's like, I don't know. It's like, it seems like one of those things that, like, it's very porn. It feels like it felt very porn adjacent.
Yeah.
So it was one of those,
I mean, it is
one of those verboten sort of things. And, because of that, it made it, like, super sexy.
It's definitely gives way to easy access.
And
especially
I think
when
that's,
you're trying to be discreet.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're married, so I can say
and we have
but
our own home.
I've put my underwear in your pocket on more than one occasion.
I've worn your underwear on my belt at shows.
That was fun. Yeah. Have a little piece of me with you.
I mean, that's more like a conquest, but anyway.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Like they're adults, we're adults.
But it's like, there must be other things. I mean, you and I talk about nostalgia all the time. Now, I don't think going commando is necessarily a nostalgia
while we're in that vicinity,
okay.
I remember being a kid and, like, going to sleepovers or having friends sleep over, and then, like, everybody's got weird habits that I'm not used to at this point. Like, when I was a kid, I always slept fully clothed, socks and all.
Ugh.
Yeah. I had to sleep that way. I just had to. Had to. And then I remember having a friend over one night, and he strips down to his underwear. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm more comfortable this way. And I'm like...
How old were you?
Maybe middle school.
Okay.
But I'm just like, put some fucking clothes on. Like, I don't want to see you in your underwear. Gross. And then eventually, like, many years later, I would do that because, your body changes and, if it's hot out or whatever and the AC is not on. But, like, it was unheard of to me at that point. And then, like, and people like you that, would sleep essentially naked.
Yes.
And I'm just, again, totally foreign to me.
I don't remember when I started sleeping naked, like, by myself. Like, don't get me wrong. If I was sleeping with another person, I was usually naked. I never got up to put clothes on.
Same reason I can't go commando because, between pubic hair and testicles, like, those zippers are dangerous.
Sure.
Something, thankfully, you will never know about.
Well, we've talked about, whether or not the zipper is dangerous to women, and it's really not because of the placement of the female genitals.
Yes.
Versus the placement of the zipper. But I used to, here's the thing, is that in my younger days, I went commando all the time. And when I say
something new every day.
When I say my younger days, I mean like my late 20s.
You mean like 10 days ago?
My mid-20s to my mid-30s. I would wear underwear. If I was not wearing pants. So, like, if I was just home, I would typically wear underwear and no pants. Those would be my bottoms for the day. Because I was home. Who cares? Or if I was wearing a dress and going out, I would usually wear underwear. I say usually because we're honest here.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I know women have this thing with, like, being able to see the lines and what your dress or your pants or whatever.
Well, that's why there are so many different kinds of women's underwear.
Like, it doesn't matter. First of all, it doesn't matter to me whether or not you go commando. It doesn't matter to me whether anybody at this point in my life. Like, I don't care. You want to go commando? Fine.
I talked to somebody about this a few weeks ago and everything, because we were talking about how we used to, never wear underwear because I don't have a problem. I would rather just wash my jeans more regularly than, have underwear stuck in my butt and stuff like that. But as you inch towards middle age, certain things make it really uncomfortable to not wear underwear. Now I have to sleep in underwear, and it's like one of those things that I am still reconciling myself to.
All right, let's move on because we've spent a little bit
We
too
spent
much
too much time talking about underwear.
Too much time at this fair.
Well, okay, you and I talk about nostalgia all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Not even just us. Everybody basically talks about it now. Like every time you see those like sad videos on TikTok or whatever, where it's the aquatic music.
But that's just it. Is that those are not shown to everyone. They're shown to people like us because we follow accounts like that.
Yeah, because I like seeing collages of like Dunkaroos and Squeeze-Its and X-Brain Yo-Yos and Skip It.
Do you think though that it's necessary to be sad about it though?
Okay, so I used to be. Every time I'd see a collage or a video with that particular song, okay, it used to really just like chew me up inside because I'm like, oh, that is the world that no longer exists. It really is. Especially when they would show videos of like decaying and dilapidated malls, you know, or abandoned, like just, it's so like.
But you know the reframe that I like to put on something like that?
What?
I like to reframe it that was a world in which we got to live in that was gone before this generation could ruin it. I like to think of it that way. I like to think that we as impressionable aged people, I'm not going to say adolescents because it's both before and after adolescence, but we got to experience these things in a way that was very real. And this generation doesn't get to do that.
Couple of things. One,
I don't think any of them are going to be nostalgic for anything.
I was raised by some pretty old people.
I was raised by old people.
And I am so much closer to that now than ever before because I said to Henry, we're walking through. Okay, first of all, I will always love the Danbury Mall. I know there's people who remember the fair and they're like, oh, the fair was better. And it's like, okay, yeah, I understand your affinity for the fair.
23 skidoo.
I'm sure it was. The fair was the mall. The fair was long before I was born. But anyway, I have affinity for the mall for many reasons. Mainly because it's where I met you for the first time and had many other great experiences. But I said to Henry today, I go, sometimes on my day off, I come here early in the morning. And he's looking at me confused. And I'm just like, think about this, okay? Early in the morning on a weekday. No lines, no crowds. It's beautiful.
We took him to the mall early on a Sunday one time before most of the mall was open.
Exactly.
He was there.
Yeah. No, I was just telling him this because I was at the mall on one of my last days off early on a weekday, and it's just like, oh, no crowds, no lines, no annoying fucking people getting in my way when I'm trying to just the line to get on the elevator today was disgusting.
Okay, but do you remember what it was like? Like, do you remember what it was like to really what it was like to experience it as a young person? Because you say no lines, none of this and everything. It's like,
do I?
But wasn't it a point at which it was crowded? You like the crowds.
So back in the, of course I remember as a kid, back in the day, it was all about commerce. It was all about, you go, you do your shopping, and that's it. I certainly wasn't paying attention to the people who were just like there to hang out, but like I would.
You didn't do that?
As a child? No.
As a pubescent?
No.
Oh!
I didn't start hanging out there until I was a teenager. Until I was able to drive. Because other than that, I was never there without my parents.
Oh, please. My parents loved dropping us off at the mall.
That
was when the house was quiet.
Yeah, but we lived a half an hour away. My parents aren't going to drive us a half an hour to, the other side of Danbury just to drop us off.
That's what my parents did. To get rid of us, really.
My dad didn't even like driving me to the center of town to just drop me off because he didn't want to have to drive me out there, drive home, and then come back and get me later. Yeah. So anyway, but I remember the mall, like just walking around. Have we done mall episode before?
Mall specific? I don't think so.
Like, I remember the way I'm still clamoring for pictures and videos of what it looked like before the renovation. Yeah. Because I hate what they've done to it, and I hate how it's.
See, and I don't remember because I never went to the Danbury Mall enough to really have that stuff stuck in my brain.
Oh,
good time.
Good time. There was a hole in the wall at Walden Books. Like just a big hole that you could sit in. Now, you're a book lover. I know how much you would have enjoyed that. It was like a little nook where
I
you could...
feel like my brain, because we had a Walden Books and a B. Dalton in the JV Mall.
Yeah.
So I think I remember the hole in the wall. I think I do.
In case you guys haven't figured it out, this is the Remember When.
I think I'm remembering more. There was like, not a tunnel per se, but like almost like a piece of a tunnel at like the children's place or something.
Our children's place had a slide.
Maybe ours did too.
In the back right corner, there's a slide.
It was just this circular cutout that I would just go and sit in.
Yeah. That's what Walden Books had.
Is that what I'm thinking of, Walden Books? I don't remember it being at a bookstore.
But like, I remember where the
Books,
Disney store was for the longest time, where Wizards of the Coast was when they first came in, how Macy's has never moved, Sears never moved, up until they got rid of it. Fucking JCPenney, Lord & Taylor, Filene's, all the anchor stores. Yeah, fucking...
Filene's. I remember thinking how much money it must take to shop at Filene's and Lord & Taylor.
See, none of that... I couldn't wait to get away from those places because my mother spent hours and hours just browsing for clothes and shit.
Yeah.
You know, John and I used to hide in the racks and fucking drive her nuts.
Ask your mother-in-law about some of the shenanigans that we got into. I mean, this woman probably looks back and completely ever regrets taking us out in public.
That is
we
where
were so embarrassing.
John and I discovered the couch in the women's restroom.
Sir?
What?
Why were you in the women's restroom?
Because we had to wait for our mother to finish. Like, if it's the two of us with her, it's just the three of us. Like,
how old were you?
We were kids. We were children.
Like, we children?
Like, we didn't go into the stalls. It's like, okay, so you walk through the first door, and then there's the area where the couch is, and then there's the bathroom.
Right, I know
it's kind of like a vestibule almost. But we would stand by the couch, and then on the way out, Mom would be like, Mom, how come you guys get a couch? We don't get a couch.
It's for breastfeeding.
I thought it was for fucking, like, not menopause.
It's for dropping your kids off.
No, it was for fucking women on their period or something, like.
What, like a fainting couch?
Yeah.
No.
Or not a fainting couch, but like, you know.
No, I'm pretty sure
if you're fucking...
it was for breastfeeding. It was a private area for breastfeeding.
I don't know if she told us this or if somebody else told us like years later. But
you have your period.
Yeah, no, it's the people who need a break, who need to fucking sit down.
That's beautiful, man.
It's the period couch. What the
fuck
am I supposed to know?
Period couch. It's a period piece.
Oh
man, I loved going to the mall. It was the one thing that I wanted to do. And whether or not we did anything did not matter. Whether or not we had money did not matter. Like, we would usually get, like, you know, food in the food court, maybe some candy, maybe a movie if we had the money for it. And then the rest of the time we would literally just walk around. I don't think we ever bought anything.
There have been so many days in adulthood where I go there just to walk around. Like, I remember being a kid and seeing, or a teenager rather, and being there at my first job and then getting there super early and seeing all the senior citizens in the jogging suits like doing their laps. And I'm like, why the fuck would they come here super early in the morning just to do laps? Like, there's got to be a track at the local school or something they can use. But like, no, they like coming to the mall, and now I see why. It's quiet, it's big, it's, you know, nobody bothers them.
I think I started like becoming a mall rat when I was 12. I don't think I was 11. I think I was 12.
I mean, I know I've told the Halloween story where we went on the wrong weekend.
Yes.
You know, but anyway.
I don't remember a lot about the Danbury Mall, though.
I don't remember a lot about any other mall.
Yeah.
Except like back in like 2006, 7-ish, when I was going to Prospect every other day to record my solo album. Periodically, I would go to... What is it? The Brass Mill, whatever.
Mill, yeah.
Just to bum around. I remember thinking, like, they have a movie theater, and how come their Hot Topic looks different?
I remember when we went to the Poughkeepsie Galleria, and we did not do that very often at all. We would go up Route 9, and we would go to like the South Hills Mall because that's where Circuit City was up there, and Best Buy. And I think Sports Authority was in Danbury.
They had one, yeah.
Okay. So there was some other reason why we would go, and that's where Chuck E. Cheese was up by the South Hills Mall. So we would go there, and it was usually like back to school time. And then because the Poughkeepsie Galleria is right next to it, we would go there. And I remember just one time just coming down the staircase like Scarlett O'Hara, just gliding and just, and I'm telling you, I'm amazed that my parents did not die of embarrassment when me and my sister were younger, because we were embarrassing.
But see, the mall area, that side of Danbury back then was a treat, because back then you had a bunch of bookstores, you had a bunch of game stores, movie stores, you had all the novelties, like units in the mall were smaller to house more businesses. Now they're bigger and they house less businesses.
Yeah.
And eventually the rent creeps up on them and they go out after such a short amount of time because nobody can afford to fucking stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember, when it was the wall turned into FYE, and they always had two anchors at like either opposite end next to the real anchors, which was like Macy's and Sears.
Well, because all of Trans World Entertainment stores turned into FYE like overnight.
But they also had a Saturday matinee. They also had Strawberries outside in the separate building. They had Electronic Boutique. They eventually got GameStop. We had a Funko-Land.
No, that was different.
What?
GameStop and EB.
Yeah, no, we had eBay first, then we got GameStop.
Right, because I think EB bought, because they bought out Babbage's.
We had Babbage's too.
And then I think GameStop bought out all of them.
And then at the Trumbull Mall we had, what was it? Sam Goody? Yeah, Sam Goody. They had Sam Goody. And then one of the other.
Did you have a Saturday matinee?
Yes.
I used to love Saturday matinee.
John used to love Saturday matinee.
Oh, did you have Suncoast?
I don't remember.
We had
I know we had a TSX because I remember you telling me about
TSX. I loved TSX. We had Suncoast in the JV Mall.
We were hearing about it, but we never.
Suncoast was fun.
I'm sure somebody listening will remember better than
they
that.
They had a stack of TVs in the window. That was good.
But Electronic Boutique, Saturday matinee, Prince Plus.
Yeah. I could tell you some stories about Prince Plus.
What else were like our regular go-tos? My parents used to love going to Sparrow because you could sit down. Nathan's used to be able to go in and sit down.
Really?
The Fountain is the same. Everybody has been bitching and moaning about the Fountain for decades because they got rid of it when they did the renovation.
It's like every time something gets renovated, if it had a fountain, the fountain goes away.
The fountain was fucking huge. It was almost as tall as the elevator went up.
We would try very hard to get the pennies in the top of the fountain, and I was worried that it would spit them back up.
I used to love standing on the second floor balcony and pitching. Because it was so tall that you almost felt like you could touch it. You
could get a little spritz every now and then. I mean, hell, even from 10 years ago, I fucking miss Starbucks now. I miss being able to go into that little alcove and everything. Now it's just where everybody goes to sit on their phone.
The Starbucks where it is now, I'm pretty sure that's what Saturday Matinee was.
Is it?
Or Saturday Matinee or Prince Plus. Or maybe both. Maybe also
Why can't it be both?
Wilson's Leather.
Oh, Wilson's Leather. Leather that took a decade to go out of business.
We bought all of our jackets at Wilson's.
So did we. I
still have 2 of them. 22 years later.
From Wilson's?
Because when you buy
I don't have anything left.
An expensive coat, you keep it.
Well, here's the thing.
It's my funeral coat.
It is. I don't think I have anything left from Wilson's. Because I had a lot. And I had to admit that I wasn't wearing them anymore. But we got them all on sale because we got them all after going out of business went down.
I got one downstairs that belonged to your father-in-law. I mean, it would be a cloak on you, but... Oh, I love that we turned this just all into about the mall. But anyway, because fucking... Oh, yeah, because I was there to get fucking manga the other day.
Yeah.
And I did. And Chinese, because I love mall Chinese. Yeah. Fucking... Even Henry today was just like, I can smell the Chinese chicken.
The chickadee China? Chinese chicken?
I was like, doesn't that smell good? He's like, yeah. I was like, but you're not going to eat any, are you? He was like, no.
That kid.
Back when the food court had like twice the amount of like eateries that it does now.
Well, I remember when we used to go to, when we made specific treks to the Danbury Mall just for Royal Fish and Chips. And as we, my sister and I would wait, and we would be very specific about, we want to finish our fish and chips so that mom and dad will let us go to the arcade. Will let us go to timeout. And we would be allowed to be in there for a while. And I think about it and I'm just like, how did we pay for any of this stuff? I find it hard to believe that my parents gave us money to go to the arcade.
How did we go from Commando to Timeout? Like,
it's all nostalgia, baby.
I think I may still have a Timeout.
Did you leave underwear in there?
No. Because that was it. Like the food court was always the last stop for us. Yeah. Like we do all the shopping, we settle up in the food court, and then while mom and dad are digesting or just trying to get off their feet for 5 minutes, John and I would be like, can we go to timeout? And then we'd go in, and then we'd spend all our money on tokens. Back when you had to exchange the money for tokens.
Get the tokens, yeah.
And, of course, like John would always save his tickets. He would always, pile them up and say, yeah, and I would always have to spend them.
Smart.
Because I'm just like, when am I ever going to be able to afford those 30,000 ticket prizes? I'm like, okay, I'm never going to fucking get it. Because I remember them having, either the game systems or the big, like, Nerf guns or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
Like the super expensive shit that you had to really grind for tickets on. I just remember that's where I developed my love of skee-ball. My love of like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter fighting games, and my love of the basketball game with the moving backboard with the chain net.
So my love of arcade games came from when we would go to the bowling alley with my mom because she was in a bowling league, and we would go on Tuesday nights. And we would do our homework, and then when our homework was finished, we got to go hang out in the arcade. And they had Turtles in Time, and they had Street Fighter 2, and they had an air hockey table, and they had a pool table that there was always somebody playing on. But like that's where my love of it came. And that's why I don't branch out to anything. I think they had a Simpsons arcade game too at some point.
Round 1 is not timeout.
No.
But it's better than nothing.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Listen, it's still a place for me to go play air hockey, skee-ball. If I want to play a Japanese arcade fighting game.
I'll give you that, but considering that like half of that room is just claw games.
Yeah.
It's just like...
That's the typical gotcha.
Ugh. Like, that's one of those things. And as much as I like a good claw game...
But it has my tower game.
One time, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast. I mentioned it to you, I'm sure. There was a summer...
Getting saucy with me,
There was a summer where at the JV Mall, because that was back when we all worked, everyone had their summer job, and we would
when everyone had a job.
So the guy I was dating at the time was working at a place called Suit Yourself. It was like Men's Warehouse, but it was like a privately owned...
Suit Yourself.
It was called Suit Yourself.
That's some 90s cleverness right there.
And I would go in out of boredom and like help them like check in all of the returned tuxedos and stuff like that. Oh yeah.
Oh, from like proms and stuff like that.
Yeah, just out of boredom.
Groomsmen.
And one day, and they put a claw machine because it was right next to the Anchor store. It was like right next to Macy's. So like here was Suit Yourself, and then across was Lens Crafters, and then at the Anchor, so it was like going out towards the entrance, the little exit that we always went to. So they put a claw machine there next to the photo booth. And it was just full of Chinese teddy bears, just different color chenille teddy bears. And they all had like Chinese like symbols on them.
Okay.
And
like mahjong symbols?
Kind of. And I changed $1 at Suit Yourself. And I was like, I'm bored. I'm going to see if I'm going to win a teddy bear. And I got it down so well that with that first $1, I won 2 of them. And everyone was like, hey, you're pretty good at that.
Was it 50 cents a play or was it 25?
No, it was 25. So I got 2 out of 4. I got 2 teddy bears. And these people were so impressed. They were like, and no one was there. Because it's like, a Wednesday morning. And I'm just like, does anyone have any money? And I think I won maybe 13 or 15 teddy bears.
For the whole group.
For the whole group. And I just brought them. Every time I won one, I brought it back and I put it on the counter. And I just had a little army of these Chinese teddy bears. And I was like, what do I do with them? And I'm like, put them in suits. I'm like, what am I going to do with all these fucking teddy bears?
You buy a suit, you get a teddy bear.
Yeah, right? It was funny. It was funny. But that's back when, the mall was the place to go. I mean, for you, it still is.
It's still the place to go. Like,
nice.
you should see how many people flock there. It's like, nowadays it's families still go. They go to browse and not buy anything and take their kids and get them to get their energy out. But it's also the place for gaggles of prepubescent teens that love to wear next to nothing and fucking.
But they all have their phones. They all have their phones.
Like, ready for that? Like, I saw a pregnant girl today who had her shirt like just underneath her tits and her whole the whole baby was just out in the open.
Okay.
It's like, fucking put some fucking clothes on. Like, I know you're pregnant and all, but it's just like, come on.
Listen, as long as her tits and her gooch are covered, ain't nothing wrong, okay?
What if she was going commando?
What if she was going commando? What if?
I don't really care. Fucking show your baby bump. Real quick, okay?
Okay.
A friend of mine once said, I don't care, in reference to the business we used to own, he goes, I don't care who owns the place as long as it's still here.
Okay.
Don't care. He just don't care who's in charge as long as it remains what it is.
Okay.
And I don't care what they do at the mall as long as it remains a mall. As long as it remains the Danbury Fair Mall.
It makes me think, I remember, the JV Mall started to fall off when the Cortland Town Center started to pick up speed. Now, when the Cortland Town Center first went in, first of all, it used to just be the Westchester Mall, not to be confused with the Westchester, which is the big fancy mall with City Limits Diner and Tiffany's and stuff like that down in White Plains, okay, where you have to pay to park and stuff like that. The Westchester Mall was a strip mall, was a half-empty strip mall with a bad pasta place and a rundown movie theater. That's what it used to be when we was kids. Then it became the Cortland Town Center, where they put in, the AMC Cinema 10 kind of bullshit, and a Walmart. And I think a Party City went in there, and a Modell's and stuff, and and a fancier pizza place and stuff like that. And it became, and a McDonald's. And it started to become a hangout spot, but it's still a strip mall. It's still an open air mall, like any other plaza that you go to, where the supermarket is and stuff like that, where Walmart is here. That's essentially what it was, okay? So the fact that it was sort of taking the adolescent attention away from the mall still weirds me out. I'm just when I found out that young kids, when I was in my 20s and I was working at the mall, and finding out that the kids don't hang out at the mall, they go down and they hang out in the McDonald's parking lot. And I'm like, what kind of idiots are just hanging out in a McDonald's parking lot?
While we're on that subject, I can vividly remember the summer after I graduated high school. And every weekday that we had nothing to do or weren't working, my friends and I would go to the mall and we'd just bum around super early in the morning when we knew nobody was going to be there. And security would be like, get the fuck, buy something or get out. But because we hung out, that was back when we, before cell phone, before smartphones, before iPod, touch iPods.
Yeah.
It's literally just flip phones, not even the slide screen or anything like that. And when we didn't have a place to go and we couldn't, and they kicked us out of the mall, we're going to parking lots. I remember we fucking hung out in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot in town all day long. The weirdest fucking thing now is that that parking lot in particular, nobody fucking hangs out in. Nobody even loiters.
Who hangs out in parking lots nowadays?
Nobody.
Nobody. What is that?
I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but
can you imagine anybody the people who hang out? Think of the groups of people who go to the mall, but they're sitting in the food court and they're all on their phones. So they're all sitting at the same table, but they're on their phones. If these idiots started hanging out in a parking lot, They'd all be on their phones. They all look like they're waiting for an Uber.
And the cops would have nothing to do. Cops already have nothing to do.
The cops would be like, go the fuck home. I mean,
That's
the
just
cops,
it.
that's just it. Is, when we hung out in parking lots, it was because everything else was closed, and we didn't feel like going home yet.
If the cops came to kick us out, it's typically because we were either skateboarding,
yeah,
or we were just being silly.
Right.
And they're like, go home. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Go do something. Go to somebody's house.
But that was also back when, remember when, that was back in the day when police actually patrolled also.
Well, it's because they didn't want us doing anything that somebody could sue for. Like, that was the major concern. It was, if one of these kids gets hurt, their parent will fucking sue, and then the business will hold whoever liable, and...
That's an interesting perspective on that.
That was the perspective.
I don't know. I think that the cops in my neck of the woods assumed that we were all potential vandals.
That too.
Like, I don't think they gave a shit if we hurt ourselves.
But no. Not. But they.
I don't think it had anything to do with that.
Okay. The more affluent perspective of townspeople was, if these kids, hurt themselves or hurt somebody else or whatever, then somebody's going to be able to sue the business. They're going to be able to sue the town. They're going to be able to sue the municipality. Like, it's fucking, it's just an accident waiting to happen that nobody wants to fucking deal with. So make the cops earn their pay and fucking get them to get those kids out of there.
I think they just thought we were always going to break something.
But see, the thing is like, we were essentially, especially compared to now, like, we were harmless. We were all harmless.
But
we weren't stealing anything. We weren't fucking breaking anything. We weren't harassing or assaulting anybody.
But at the same time, I will credit those cops, because if they presumed we had the potential to do any and or all of those things, they were actually preventing crime back when cops did that.
There were cops that would roll up, tell us, you guys can't skateboard here, you guys can't hang out here, and then they would sit there and shoot the shit with us. And by shooting the shit, prevented us from doing anything.
Yeah.
Because we're there and we're carrying on a conversation with them to try and get on their good side, so they know that we're not ragamuffins or ruffians or whatever the fucking...
Ragamuffins.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I told you, I was raised by old people.
Older than the people who raised me, that's for sure.
Listen. I was
not by much, but
I was raised by a mother whose brain was like a stack of fucking flashcards. Like,
I used the word Nimrod today, twice by accident.
Today, or was it yesterday?
It was today.
Oh.
I actually used it twice, which was weird because I caught myself, and you heard me. I'm like, did I use the word Nimrod? I'm like, did I just say Nimrod? And then I said it again later without realizing it, and I stopped myself because I'm like, why did it again?
Like, one day my mother's going through the flashcards with one of her students, and she's like, where have I heard that word charlatan before? Oh, that's right. You heard
charlatan.
You heard it on a Daffy Duck cartoon. I was like, I sure did. Remember when?
Remember when?
Remember when? Yeah.
God. Remember when shit was a big deal?
Like,
do you think everybody's just jaded now? Or do you think that, like, everyone talks about, like, desensitization?
I think everybody yearns for a time that no longer exists. Like, everybody wants to go back to the days of their youth when everything was simple.
But what about the youth that's youthful now?
They are slowly turning into the rest of us, because what they're exposed to now is happening in their formative years. When they get to be our age, they're going to look back on now and think, why can't we go back to that? Because every generation, from what I've noticed, every generation does it. Doesn't matter what they hold fondly. They all, as humans, we all yearn for the simplicity and the simpler times, the better, the carefree world.
How bad or stupid or monotonous can things become that this is going to be the thing that generation yearns for?
Well, think about it. Like, I go to the mall just to be there. I don't have to spend money. I don't have to go anywhere in particular. Thank God that Henry's favorite thing to do is to just go to that little jungle gym and play with the other kids, which costs me fucking nothing.
Bless.
And I can just sit there and I can check my phone and I can watch him and he can run around and expend some energy. And great. And then I get to be in the mall, in the place where I reminisce about all the best, moments of my loitering life. I don't fucking know.
It makes me wonder, because it's like we lived in, like, we grew up in such a different situation. Like, what, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's no there's no, what's the word? There's no fondness for the age of now. First of all, we're surrounded by negativity and bullshit.
That's that in my opinion, that's projection, because that is us not understanding today's generation's affinity, just like our parents' generation didn't understand our affinity.
I feel like things are so short-lived though right now.
But it
we are now in a time where things are so short-lived. Fads even aren't even given the opportunity to be fads. It's like whereas we lived through fads, these kids are experiencing memes. What are you trying?
Did you say fags?
No. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's gonna be the soundbite.
God damn it.
Anyway,
no, but like we experienced true fads.
They're still fads now. We just don't understand.
Like what?
I don't know, but they're not.
No,
they're not.
Give me one.
They're not for us.
What do you got? What do you got? What's a fad now?
Let me call the boy. He'll tell me one.
That's just it. Is that like we're not experiencing fads like 6'7"? That's not a fad.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
It's only a matter of time before they stop talking about it.
We passed an entire aisle of Skibbity toilet merch today. Okay? Or whatever that thing was that you showed me that Oliver used to be obsessed with.
My parents, and I'm sure to some degree your parents as well, could never understand why we were so enamored with getting tattoos or the bands that we listened to or the clothes that we wore, okay? Because they were brought up at a different time by a different generation to where their parents, our grandparents, didn't understand the things that they were into. And as I told you earlier, I put on 1940s jazz because it reminds me of my parents.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that they're off in the ether somewhere dancing to it.
But
Yesterday was their 56th anniversary.
Oh, well, happy anniversary. But do you think decades from now, one of these kids is going to put on, like, Pearl Jam and be like, oh, man, I like to think that my dad is somewhere up there banging his head. Just living here. You know, and it's like...
I still think Hair of the Dog was done by Pearl Jam. Because it sounds like Eddie Vedder. And it's on the table, the mounds of cocaine. Anyway, no, because like I remember opening up Oliver's story one time, and he's got MSI as the background track, and I'm just like, who the fuck showed you MSI?
With MSI,
I'm like, MSI was a thing when I was fucking 19.
Seriously, no.
And I saw them once, and it was fucking terrible.
Oh Lord,
like
Lord,
the only thing anybody ever wants to hear is "shut me up." Once that's done, it's like, okay, show's over.
I don't know. I feel like this conversation that we're having now, and the conversations similar to this that you and I have had like nonstop, right? I feel like 20 years from now, this isn't going to be as affective on people as it was on us, because I don't think
Does this keep you awake at night?
No.
Jesus.
It may tonight, but that's what I find sad. I find it sad that, like, what will they look back on fondly? Remember when the iPhone 15 came out? It barely fit in my hand.
I don't particularly care what they're gonna look on fondly. Listen.
So
this stage that you and I are in right now, I didn't get to see my parents in. Okay, my parents were 43 and 41 when I was born.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw their late 40s. I saw their 50s and beyond. But for as long as I can remember, they were indulging in the things they held fondly. So there was never a time I could walk into the living room and not see them watching a Marx Brothers movie or an Abbott and Costello movie or a Western or something with Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh or Maureen O'Hara or whatever in it. Or I Love Lucy, stuff from what is now almost 80 years ago.
God.
And personally, I, you, first of all, you and I still share affinities for things like that because we look back on it and remember them as being funny and entertaining. And they also remind us of, the last generations that kind of raised us on that stuff, in addition to everything that we were exposed to growing up.
Well, okay, in that same vein, it sort of brings it back around to the fact that I'm binge rewatching Friends. Friends is on TV Land now.
Oh, God.
Right? Remember when do you remember when TV Land first launched?
Yes, I do. I was like 6.
Right?
And I watched it incessantly.
And I remember being so excited because Nick at Night was one of my favorite things, but it was only at night. Now it's Nick at Night, but it's all the time, and they call it TV Land.
Yeah.
And I was
Explain it to the kids.
So fucking excited for it. And then they started doing like original shows like Hot in Cleveland, and I'm just like, But then
exposing
it's like,
Betty White to a whole new generation.
Yes, truly.
She's got her own stamp now.
But it was like, but then I
joke.
think about that. And it's like, think about the shows that would be on Nick at Night now.
It's like that
the classic TV
It's
reruns.
like that line in the Bowling for Soup song. It's, when did Motley Crue become classic rock? When did Ozzy become an actor? When did, Van Halen and this and that and the other thing? I remember discovering Nick at Night and watching shows that at that point were 20 and 30 years old, like Welcome Back, Kotter, for example, which at 6 years old I thought was fucking hilarious.
Because it was. Although when you look back on that, it's really kind of weird. Like, I look at Welcome Back, Kotter and All in the Family and the Jeffersons specifically, and I'm just like, shit. I'm like, why were we allowed to watch this?
Because people had stronger stomachs back then.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is the fact that, them being 20 and 30 years old at that point, when Nick at Night first launched, how must the last 2 generations have felt watching these shows decades later and watching their kids and grandkids in us, seeing them for the first time.
Yeah.
And how must they have felt to think, oh, they don't get it or they don't appreciate it like we did. It's being wasted on them. Like,
not to be confused with the story that I like to tell about when my mom and I watched Friends and they made a blowjob joke and my mother laughs in her throat and says, oh, I wish you understood that.
Listen, I had the same...
And I didn't want to turn around and say, Ma.
I had a similar situation when dad unsuccessfully didn't get me to leave the room when he wanted to watch A Few Good Men one Sunday night. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting up. And you're very large and not going to be able to get out of that chair. So.
Oh, Gunter up.
But the thing, but at 6 years old, 7 years old, whatever it was, I didn't get half of those references anyway. So whatever he was worried about me seeing like prematurely, it wasn't going to make much of a difference anyway.
I think one of the funniest things that when I was a kid, one of the funniest things that I remember, like really truly remember laughing like till it hurt, was the blooper at the end of Grumpier Old Men where he's just, hey, dickhead, I'm stuck. I remember losing my shit over that.
I remember losing my shit over The State. And The State would eventually go on to become Reno 911 and all that shit.
So when Reno 911 aired, I was old enough to look at it and be like, this is kind of dumb. I don't want to watch this. Little did I know that as a youth,
Did you say Ute?
I was exposed to The State because my sister watched it. And I sort of fell in line with the idea like, oh, it's funny, it's subversive and stuff like that and everything. But it's just like...
But at the time...
As I aged, I'm like...
That was deemed inappropriate for younger audiences.
Yes.
So every Friday night, we had to wait for my parents to leave the house to go out for dinner.
Yeah.
And the 4 of us would watch Beavis and Butthead and The State. And
Beavis and Butthead was one that my mom did not want us watching.
Our parents didn't want us watching anything.
Nothing on MTV.
Yeah.
And no Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. Well, my parents didn't know, like, they didn't pay attention to that. But like looking back on it now, like, especially when you have people who are like, look at Ren and Stimpy and Rocco, for example.
Yeah.
And they're just
Rocco!
like, hello, honey. And they look at stuff like that and they're like, who thought this was okay for kids to watch in the 90s? And it's just
Yeah.
like, this shit is tame compared to the stuff that's coming out
Super
now. Like, it's just
tame.
goofy and like weird.
Yeah, and
Like,
a little gross.
It's a little gross, but
It's a little gross.
but kids had strong stomachs back then. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't think anything of it. Why are you thinking too far into it now?
Well, that's just it.
Why,
That,
why,
we're so-
no, no,
everything's-
why are the generations beneath us thinking so far into it? Like, this is so offensive. Like, go fuck yourself.
What are you talking about? The generations beneath us?
The
like
generation-
like the generations after us?
The generations after us,
Oh, yeah.
at least in the last like 10 years or so,
Oh, yeah.
have looked at stuff that we grew up with that we still find fondness
I
in.
gotta label it as offensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, because now
It's like, why don't you
oh my
grow a
God,
fucking
it's like we
pair?
need to cancel everything because everything is so obscene.
How about you cancel yourselves and
Like,
the problem
shut
will be
up.
solved?
It's like maybe if we exposed kids to more things, they wouldn't be so fucking sensitive anymore. Wouldn't that be fun? You know, if we taught them what a joke was.
So many things could have been sorted quick with a punch. Seriously. No, seriously. If you, like, who's the comedian that's fucking like that always talks about being punched in the face? Like, if you like.
Bill Cosby.
No. I can't remember who it is, but they always talk about like you will be severely humbled and you will learn a thing or two about life and yourself if you take a punch.
George Carlin was
No,
it?
I can't remember who it is. It was either Jim Jeffries or Ben Backus or somebody. I don't know.
Probably Jim Jeffries.
But like,
because I feel like I've heard it too.
no, I want to say it was somebody, but it's true. Like I was telling Henry about it. I was like, listen, when you get punched in the face,
Yep.
it severely humbles you.
Yeah.
It really does. And it makes you, it knocks you down a few pegs.
Yeah.
So word to the wise, word to the not so wise, don't do something that warrants a punch.
Yep. Well, we had to have that conversation a couple weeks ago. Is that, listen, eventually you're going to hit a kid who's going to hit you back.
Somebody hit me once and I literally went for the throat. I punched a kid in the throat.
Right in the throat. Just,
I was like, you should have hit me.
oh, God. Even remember when this would have been funny to somebody? Because guarantee at least one person worldwide will listen to this and be like, ugh.
Okay, we don't need your money.
We have enough. We have enough downloads.
Yeah, by the
we
way,
don't need you.
in reference to last week's episode, thanks for your downloads.
Stupid. Oh man.
Oh, speaking, I forgot to say something last week.
Oh no.
No. So
That was part of the remember when.
Or no, it was
we
2
were
episodes.
talking about that we really wanted to say stuff and we keep forgetting.
that's every episode.
know.
So every time I preview an episode to see how it sounds in context, there are always so many moments where I'm like, I wish I had said this and I wish I'd
Same.
remembered to include that and whatever. And one thing I forgot, it was 2 episodes ago when I was hyping up Travis Myers, okay,
The
guy
finale.
who used to own
Yeah.
Altercation Records. His podcast, Another Nobody, Spotify, Apple, all your podcast, like I sponsor, total absolute sponsor. No, because he said to me, he's like, listen, if you're gonna mention my name, please just mention the podcast, that way people know where to find me.
Well, didn't you mention the podcast? You just didn't mention the name.
I did not mention it. It's called Another Nobody with Travis Myers.
Nobody.
He's probably gonna make fun of me for this, but but it's actually a really interesting podcast. I love what he does with his guests. I love how in depth they get with their conversations.
Yeah.
And I learn something new about him every time. So
Are we still learning things about each other?
absolutely, that's what makes it fun.
It does make it fun.
I love you.
I love you. This was a good talk.
I don't want to leave. I'm not done yet.
What else do you have?
We still got 3 minutes.
What else do you have?
That's it. Oh,
This was a good one.
Yeah, it kept me a lot as lighthearted as I wanted to be because I've had a
Yeah.
shitty day. Well, I haven't a shitty.
Yeah, I
day.
didn't have a shitty day.
I've been having some shitty time lately because people suck.
Well, but aside from that, this was a good one.
Yeah.
And I think we should do more of these because, again, this is the mood that I like because it gives me this little thing going.
What is it, freeze dance?
We were talking about freeze dance. Remember freeze dance? I do. I like that
I remember freeze pops.
The kid was talking about this fire and ice tag, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's freeze
Well,
tag.
okay, so
I'm
you're
like,
always
it's freeze tag without being allowed to touch each other.
you're always talking about like how come you can never remember when I ask you what you learned in school this week. So I tried to ask him a little differently. It's like I asked him, "What is the most fun thing you remember about school this week?" And he tells me,
And
"Fire
he
and
did
ice dad."
this
Yeah, he grabs his
for
chin.
a few minutes. He did this, and then
grabbing his non-existent beard. He
um.
does that all the time, though. You have to ask him like leading questions.
I think it's adorable that you think I don't.
Okay, then just try rephrasing it. What do you want me to tell you? I mean,
I do that, and then you criticize me for it. You told me, you're like, you got to give him a chance to answer. And I'm like, I'm just trying to make it a little bit more simple for him.
If he's anything like his brother, and I'm sure he is to a large degree, it'll get better with age. It'll get easier with age.
Fingers crossed, Freddie. I got my fingers crossed, Freddie.
I'm going to get to jobby, Freddie.
Anyway.
Cheese sandwich.
Did we kill those 3 minutes?
No, not yet. We still got 18 seconds.
Well, my timer says an hour, so
Whatever.
I'm going to call it.
That's because you got the jump the gun on. Jump the gun.
Thank you.
Go buy your Glocks now. Do it.
People of Connecticut, buy your Glocks now.
Go buy your Glocks.
Thank you out there in podcast
Everybody
land.
outside of Connecticut, if you want Glocks for cheap, buy them from Connecticut.
Thank you out there in podcast land. Legally purchase these weapons and legally transport them across state lines. Thank you out there in podcast land for tuning in. We had a blast. Please find us on social media, DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's. You can also email us at dtandyandjjstar@gmail.com with questions, comments, concerns for our well-being, conversation starters, and enders. We are probably going to end up going back to the list at this point.
We'll find something.
We'll just make it up on the spot. We just wing this shit anyway.
We usually do.
List? We really do.
We make these lists and then we don't adhere to them because we're just that good.
Because we keep saying, you're like, well, we can always go back to the list, and then we just, do it on the fly anyway.
Well, because, stuff happens and then we think of other things. And...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, here's the funny thing. So, like, when it comes to, like, music ideas, my voice memos thing on my phone is so full of stuff that I have not yet gone back to and re-listened. Like, there's some stuff I've listened to and then, used for future stuff. But there's so many ideas, like, I have to record this so I don't forget it.
Yeah.
And then I'd end up not looking at it for, like, a year.
Every time I have an idea for something or something I want to remember, I will text myself and I will leave the notification on there so that I remember to look at it and everything like that. So I have a text conversation with myself that goes back probably 5-6 years that I have never scrolled back and seen all of the things that I've forgotten.
I also record these ideas so people can't steal them because they can't come up with shit on their own.
Oh, but yes, thank you. Instagram, email, find all of our episodes streaming on Podbean. Please give us a like and follow because that's how we make money and we like money. You can also find all of our audio episodes streaming wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to ttppodcast.com for all of that and go to our dtandyandjjstar.com for all of our videos. You can also find Love Hard Art on Instagram and Coat of Arms Tattoo on Instagram. And we're going to start promoting it now because why the fuck not? Love Hard Art will be at the Villain Arts Nashville Tattoo Convention August 14th, 15th, and 16th at the fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee.
We've been promoting that.
But now we're really going to get into it because I'm almost ready to start working on it. Finally. I'm still working on stuff that I got paid to do months ago. I'm almost done with it. It's going to go out on time.
I got paid. You're getting paid. We're making this art thing work.
Woo! Well, somebody has to. You got anything you want to say? Any closing arguments?
No,
Final thoughts?
I'm still a free agent and enjoying the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying your free time too.
And fucking play with people who don't practice their instruments.
We're gonna go play with our instruments now, and I think that's a full lid from the three of us at That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Star,
and I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.